Forget the love interests. These are the relationships that actually made these shows worth watching. The platonic male-female friendships in sci-fi TV that never needed to become anything romantic, and were absolutely better for it. These are the bonds built on trust, survival, shared history, and genuine affection, with zero love triangles in sight. Some of them are warm and funny, some are quietly devastating, and some are so rock solid they make most romantic relationships look fragile by comparison. We've got 10 of them to get through, spanning decades of sci-fi television. So let's jump right in. The Doctor and Donna Noble, Doctor Who. If you want the gold standard of platonic male-female friendships in sci-fi TV, Donna Noble and the 10th Doctor are it. From the moment Donna lands in the TARDIS, she makes it crystal clear she has zero romantic interest in the Doctor, and refreshingly, he feels the same way. Their connection is something richer. Two people who bring out the absolute best in each other. Donna grounds the Doctor when he gets too reckless, and he opens up a universe of wonder for her. Russell T. Davies wrote their bond as a deliberate pushback against the companion as love interest trope, and it shows in every scene. When their time together ends, it's one of the most devastating moments in the show's history, and it hits so hard precisely because it's not a romantic tragedy. Mal and Zoe, Firefly. Mal and Zoe are the kind of friends who've already been through hell together before the show even starts. They fought side by side in the Unification War, lost that war, and still chose to keep facing the universe together, this time on a beat-up spaceship, doing morally questionable jobs just to survive. What makes their bond so compelling is how rock solid it is. Zoe is married to Wash, and nobody ever tries to wedge any romance between her and Mal. They bicker, they disagree, they drive each other crazy sometimes, but there's an unshakable mutual respect underneath all of it. Firefly only lasted one season, which makes it even more impressive how fully realized their friendship feels. Pure loyalty forged in war. Naomi and Amos, The Expanse. The Expanse is a politically complex show, but some of its best moments are the quieter ones between Naomi and Amos. Both are belters, both carry significant trauma, and both have learned to survive in a universe that doesn't care much whether they live or die. What develops between them is this unspoken understanding. They don't need to explain themselves to each other the way they do with everyone else. Amos, who struggles to connect emotionally with most people, is openly protective of Naomi, and she's one of the few people he genuinely trusts. It never tips into romance, and it doesn't need to. Their bond feels more foundational than that, like two people who recognize something essential in each other and hold on to it. In a show full of grand stakes, their friendship is one of its greatest achievements. Dutch and Johnny, Killjoys. Dutch and Johnny are basically the blueprint for found family done right. They're interplanetary bounty hunters, and from the very first episode, their dynamic is electric. Johnny is the tech genius with a big heart. Dutch is the fiercely independent assassin with a complicated past. Together, they're unstoppable, and the show never once feels the need to make them anything more than best friends. Their relationship is built on trust and the kind of ride-or-die devotion that most romantic storylines wish they could achieve. Killjoys ran for 5 seasons, and through all the chaos and universe-ending stakes, Dutch and Johnny remained each other's constant. Genuinely one of the most underrated friendships in sci-fi. Harry and Asta, Resident Alien. Resident Alien is a show about an alien who crash lands on Earth with a mission to wipe out humanity, and somehow it gave us one of the warmest friendships on TV. Harry, who is technically a murderous extraterrestrial, develops a genuine bond with Asta, a local woman who becomes one of the first humans to know his real identity. Their friendship works because Asta never lets Harry off the hook. She calls out his alien obliviousness and pushes him toward empathy even when he's actively resistant to it. Harry, in turn, becomes more human through knowing her. There's warmth, humor, and surprising emotional depth between them, and the show wisely keeps them in firmly platonic territory throughout. Clarke and Bellamy, The 100. Let's address the elephant in the room. The Bellark fandom is one of the most dedicated ships in recent TV history, and they spent 7 seasons convinced the show was building toward a romance. It never got there, and honestly, that's worth celebrating. Because what Clarke and Bellamy actually have is something harder to write and more interesting to watch. a genuine co-leadership friendship forged under impossible pressure. They start out as rivals, each convinced the other's approach will get everyone killed, and slowly become the two people who trust each other most in a world where trust is genuinely scarce. They challenge each other, carry each other's weight, and make each other better leaders. That's not a consolation prize. That's a great friendship. Liv and Ravi, iZombie. iZombie doesn't always get the credit it deserves, and neither does the friendship at its center. Liv is a zombie working as a coroner's assistant, while Ravi is her very much alive boss who discovers her secret early on and just rolls with it. That's the foundation of their dynamic. Ravi's boundless enthusiasm for Liv's condition versus Liv's exasperated affection for his nerdy energy. He treats her zombification as the most fascinating scientific puzzle imaginable, and she appreciates being seen as a person rather than a monster. They bicker like siblings, support each other through genuinely awful circumstances, and share a workplace that involves a lot of brains and Tupperware. Through 5 seasons of murder of the week plots and larger mythology, their friendship stays consistently fun and completely romance-free. Picard and Guinan, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Picard and Guinan have what might be the most quietly extraordinary friendship in all of Star Trek. There's a moment in their every scene where you get the sense that these two have been through something together that nobody else understands. And you'd be right. Their friendship predates the Enterprise entirely, stretching back across time in ways the show gradually reveals. What makes their bond special, however, is the balance of it. Guinan tends bar on the Enterprise, but she's no background character. She's one of the few people in Picard's life who talks to him straight. Meanwhile, Picard is one of the most formidable people in Starfleet, and yet with Guinan, he lets his guard down completely. It's a friendship built on a kind of trust that takes lifetimes to develop, and in their case, it literally did. Steve and Robin, Stranger Things. Steve Harrington's redemption arc is one of Stranger Things' best achievements, and a huge part of it runs through his friendship with Robin. They meet while working together at the Starcourt Mall ice cream shop, survive a genuinely harrowing ordeal involving truth serum, and come out the other side as best friends. In the pivotal bathroom scene, Robin comes out to Steve, bracing for rejection, and he responds with total acceptance and zero drama. From that point on, any ambiguity about their dynamic is gone, replaced by something more interesting. A genuine, uncomplicated friendship between two people who bring out each other's humor and humanity. Robin sharpens Steve's self-awareness, while Steve gives Robin a sense of belonging. They're better together than any other duo in the show. Carter and Daniel, Stargate SG-1. Stargate SG-1 ran for 10 seasons and gave its characters plenty of time to develop, which makes the friendship between Sam Carter and Daniel Jackson one of the most naturally evolved on this list. They're the two academics of SG-1, and they bond over being the people on the team whose first instinct is always to understand rather than shoot. Their friendship has an easy warmth to it, built on years of a shared commitment to figuring things out. While Sam and Jack O'Neill carry the show's romantic tension, Sam and Daniel exist in a completely different register, colleagues who became genuine friends. It's the kind of friendship that develops naturally over years of working side by side, and it feels completely real because of it. So that's our list. 10 sci-fi BFFs that prove you don't need romance to create the most compelling relationship in a show. If you think we missed an obvious one, or if you die on a hill for a pairing we didn't include, tell us about it in the comments. Head over to tvshowpilot.com for more takes on all your favorite shows. Hit that like button and subscribe to the TV Show Pilot channel so you don't miss what's coming next.